Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back, everyone. This is going to be our video 36 today, inshallah. So what I decided that I'm going to do, as you can see, I already went ahead and put a chart here on our board. And we talked about the 6 babs or 6 families of the verbs, how it changes from madi, mudari, masdar, and then isim fa'il and all of that. So uh, before I move on to the other forms of the verb, which, if you guys can recall, I said there are 10 other forms that the verbs um, changes. Like we have the basic 3 root letter, and then after that we have other letters that will uh, be added to the the original root letter. So therefore, then we have 10 of those, 10 different variation, basically, I should say, so that the verb changes. Anyways, but this is our basic form. So I'm going to go ahead and give this chart to you guys. Hopefully you guys will write this down in this manner and then keep it. And then this will help you with different babs or different categories when these verbs go through. So remember, we talked about nasara yansuru, we said daraba yadribu, we said sami'a yasma'u, fataha yaftahu. These were the basic 4 forms that the verbs derive from in the Quran. And then there's another one, a couple of other ones that to completely make 6 that are not really so much used, but we will go ahead and give that information here as well. So my point is, in here, I'm gonna give you those verbs, the maldi, and then I'll explain what this is, and then I'll explain what this is down here. And then we'll plug in the verbs, and then this is how it's this basically this is a template for you. So next time you have a verb that you come across a verb, anything like jalasa, kataba, daraba, whatever, and then you can put it in this form, and then you should be able to, conjugate it real quickly, inshallah. So the first one I'm going to go ahead and give you is the word nasara, which is one of the babs. So it's called bab nasara. So the verb would be nasara. Nasara. Let me put this a little bit space so we can see that. Nasara yansuru. Yansuru. Nasran. So the masdar becomes nasran. Nasran. So masdar it's like a verb without any action right now. So nasran means help. So nobody's really doing the action right now. It's just the word means help. But once you put the action to it, then it becomes a verb. Like he's helping, or they're helping, or I need help, or things like that. So now then after the nasran, then it becomes ism fa'il, meaning the one who is doing the action. So this becomes nasirun. Nasirun. Okay, so we have past tense nasara, mudari yansuru, masdar nasran, and then ism fa'il becomes nasir. So it means to help. He helped, he helps, help the one who helps. Okay, so that's how we translate it. Now we come next to this category. The reason why I'm pointing this out is because it's good to know, because we do come across these versions in the Quran, since our focus is on the most repeated things in the Quran. So it's always good to know in this form as well. So when we do come across it, then we can quickly, inshallah, identify and figure out where does this fall, which one is it, which verb is it, or which category. So notice it's maldi here, and then it's maldi majhul, and then mudari majhul, and then masdar, it remains the same. And then here it's ism fa'il, and then in this category it becomes ism maf'ul. So maldi is past tense, but majhul means something that is not known. The action was done, but we don't know the doer, the whoever did it. Like the book was read, for example. The book was read, but we don't know who read it. So this falls in this majhul version, like here. So the nasara becomes, so this is the pattern that this is going to change to. Nasara becomes nusira. Nusira. So that means this is from nasara, it switched. You got nun's got a dhamma, and then swad got a kasra, and then the ra remained with the fatha. So it becomes nusira. And then yunsaru. Yunsaru. And then nasran stays the same. And then ism maf'ul becomes mansurun. Mansurun. Okay. And then if you notice, ism maf'ul, it falls on the same pattern as mansur. Maf'ul, mansur. So it becomes on the same pattern. And notice that this one, it's taking a meme in the beginning. All right. So, and then this part, again, this is very important because we read these verbs in these forms also in the Quran. So I will go ahead and this time add these as well. So now we have the complete chart, inshallah, going forward. So we have al-amru minhu. So al-amr, remember we talked about amr, which means the command form. So al-amru minhu, meaning the command in it or from it. What is the command from this verb right here? When we tell someone to help, right? So here, that's where we're gonna put that. Al-amru minhu becomes unsur. Sorry. Unsur. And then it always ends with a sukoon because it's a command. Unsur. Now here, وَالنَّهِيَ عَنْهُ. So this means it's like the negation form, like la. There are three types of la. La means no or don't. So we have the first one is la an-nafiya, which is when you say something that I don't know, right? When you talk about something like I don't understand it, I don't know where this person is, or I don't know. So that's what I don't know. And then when it's the la is used to say, in this case, an-nahiya, to when you tell someone to don't, like don't sit, don't read, don't go. So that's that kind of la. And then the third category we have is la an nahiya lil jins. What that means is that, meaning that kind of la, it negates everything else before it. That there's absolutely no. So you're just saying that this for like any kind of geniality, there's nothing. So this kind of la we use when we say la ilaha illallah. So that la that we say in the beginning, that says la ilaha, that la is referring to that la nahiya lil jins, meaning that there are absolutely no other thing in geniality that is compared to Allah except Allah. Right. So that's a different type of la nahiya, that we negate everything. But we're not talking about those. I just want to point that out because there are those three types of la. So in this case, this is to say it as the command to help. And then here it says to not help. So we have to put the harf la. So we have to say la tansur. Tansur. Again, ends with sukoon because it's the command. And so this was the command. This is when we say don't sit. In a way, it is kind of like a command, but it ends with sukoon. Now here, the last category, the third category, it says al-dharfu minhu. Al-dharf, This negates like time and place. Zarf means time and place, where something is happening, or the time, how it's happening, where it's happening. And some of these, this form of zarf, on some of these verbs, actually most of them, they all have three versions of how they end. So in this case, al-zarfu minhu, meaning the place, we have man sarun, mansarun, and then we have mansirun, and then we have mansaratun. Mansaratun. Okay. Like this is the place that it was helped. Okay. All right. So hopefully, yes, you guys can see everything. And so now this was the first bab, which we talked about, bab nasara. So now you understand, alhamdulillah, we have the basic, the madi, mudari, masdar, ism fa'il. And then we have the madi, majhul, mudari, majhul, masdar, it remains the same. And then we have ism maf'ul, and basically the verb will fall on that pattern as well. This verb here, it falls on this pattern, ism fa'il, fa'il, nasir. See, it has the same pattern. And here, maf'ul, mansur, it falls on the same pattern. Now, what we're gonna do is, yeah, so the Madi Majhul is, then it changes to, the sound would be U-E. So it's Nusi, Nusira, Yunsaru. And then Nasran, and then Mansurun. Al-Amru minhu unsur, النهي عنه لا تنصر, الظرف منه منصر, منصر, and then منصرة. Okay, I will go ahead and erase this. Hopefully you guys will just copy this down. This will be Bab, the first one, Bab Nasara, and then I will come back with a clean board, inshallah, and we will work on the second Bab. Okay, the next Bab would be Daraba. These are fathas. Daraba, yadribu, yadribu. Then it becomes darban. Sorry, doesn't have that. Darban, and then becomes فهو ضارب, فاعل, ضارب, ضارب. Now we come to Madi Majhul. So remember we talked about U-E. So when it comes to Majhul, the sound would be U-E. So this is Daraba. So it becomes Du-Ri-Ba. So it becomes Duriba. Yudrabu. Yudrabu. And then this part remains the same. Darban. Madrubun. Madrubun. Okay. Now we're gonna do the al-amru minhu, idrib. Idrib. And then it becomes والنهي عنه لا تضرب. So we have لا تضرب. لا تضرب with سكون, with سكون. اضرب with سكون, and then لا تضرب is stops with سكون. And then والظرف منه مضرب, مضرب فتحة مضرب. This is مضرب مضرب مضرب, and then it's مضربة. مضربة. So it's مضربا مضرب مضربة. So this again الظرف منه, meaning it's the time and the place that it was struck or it was hit. All right, so let's go over it again. ضرب يضرب ضربا ضارب. ضرب means to strike. And then the ماضي مجهول is ضرب يضرب. Here, notice how the difference happens here. So when you do come across in the Quran, and like you would be used to, okay, the ماضي is like يضرب. Sometimes when you come across, you think it's ماضي because it starts with a ya and it ends with a dhamma, just like this one. But then you're like, why does it have a dhamma here? It's supposed to have a fatha because daraba yadribu. And then, but here it says yudrabu. It's not even ri, it's yudrabu. So this is why it's important for us to know that these forms do exist. So when we do come across from it, we can inshallah quickly identify and figure it out. Like, wow, oh, okay, so this is a mudari majhul that it's shown in the Quran in this way. Or it comes in the past tense, duriba, it was struck, but we don't know who did it, who did the action, but it was struck. And it goes on like that. And then idrib is al-amru minhu idrib, meaning to command someone to hit idrib. And then when you say to someone, don't strike, la tadrib, الظرف منه مضرب مضرب, and then مضربة. Okay. All right, inshallah, we'll come back with the clean board for the next bab. All right, so the next bab or category that we're going to be talking about is the third one, hasiba. Hasiba. Can you guys see that? That might be too light. Let me change my marker. Okay, let's remove this because it's too light. So let's write it again, hasiba. Hasiba. So this is another bab, hasiba. Just like we did let me see. No, that's a different category. So yeah, hasiba, yahsibu. Hasiba, yahsibu, and then becomes hisbanan. حسبانا فهو حاسب. ده اسم فاعل. And then ماضي, sorry, so حاسب means to think or think. حسب is the majhul. Remember we talked about ui when we come to majhul. حسب. And then it becomes يحسب. يحسب. And then حسبانا, this is the same. حسبانا فهو محسوب. محسوب. مفعول محسوب. Same pattern. All right. الأمر منه. احسب. The command form. احسب. لا. والنهي عنه لا تحسب. لا تحسب. and then والظرف منه محسب. 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 and then محسبة. Okay. All right. So here, let's go again. حسب يحسب حسبانا حاسب. This means to think. حسب. I don't know why I wrote that. This should be a فتحة. حسب يحسب حسبانا محسوب. This is the مضارع, sorry, the ماضي مجهول version. That's why it starts with the ضمة. U-E. The sound is U-E, and then the مضارع is U-A. All right, that's just a sound. So you can, if you can keep it U-E and then U-A, so that means in the ماضي مجهول it becomes حسب, and then in the مضارع مجهول becomes يحسب. So it's you and then sa. يحسب. All right, and then الأمر منه احسب. النهي عنه لا تحسب, meaning don't think. This here's meaning think. احسب. Don't think. And then الظرف منه, this is the place or the time that this took place, that the thinking that happened, that the thinking took place. محسب. محسب. And then محسبة. The next one is going to be سمع. The next form or bab. This is going to be the fourth one. So we have سمع. سمع. يسمع. And then it becomes سمعا. سمعا. And then اسم فاعل becomes سامع. سامع. Okay. And then سمع, it means to hear. سمعا, to hear. And then we go to ماضي مجهول. So this is where the action is not known. So it becomes UI. سمع. سمع. يسمع. يسمع. سمعا stays the same. And then اسم مفعول becomes مسموع. مسموع. سكون here. Okay, let's move to the الأمر. الأمر منه اسمع. اسمع. And then النهي عنه لا تسمع. And then الظرف منه مسمع. 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 And then it's مسمعة. معة. مسمعة. Okay, let's go over it again, inshallah. So you have سمع. This is past tense. He heard. يسمع. He hears. سمعا meaning hearing, to hear. سامع is the one who is hearing, is the person, the one who's doing the action. He's listening, who's hearing. And then ماضي مجهول becomes سمع. It was heard. مضارع مجهول يسمع. It's being heard. سمعا, same thing, is the masdar, is the verb. And then مسموع, this is اسم مفعول, meaning that the thing that it was heard, it like the thing that it went to, the thing that took the hearing. So that's مسموع. All right, let's clean the board, inshallah, and then we will come back. We have 1, 2 more, and then we're going to be done with all the babs. Okay, so now we have فتح. فتح يفتح. فتح يفتح فتحا. فتحا. And then اسم فاعل becomes فاتح. فاتح. And then we come to ماضي مجهول, becomes فتح, becomes فتح. فتح أبواب السماوات. The doors of the heavens was opened. فتح. And then يفتح. Sorry, يفتح. And then it becomes the same thing, فتحا. And then اسم مفعول, it becomes مفتوح. 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 Okay. And then let's go to الأمر منه, the command from it, it becomes افتح. افتح. النهي عنه لا تفتح. لا تفتح. And then الظرف منه, then it becomes مفتح. مفتاح. 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 And then مفتاحة. مفتاحة. Okay. So فتح is to open. It also means to فتح, to conquer. So فتح يفتح فتحا فاتح. This is the ماضي present, meaning the current. And then we come to ماضي مجهول. فتح يفتح. فتحا is the same. And then it becomes مفتوح, something that was opened. الأمر منه افتح. This is a command. When or open. النهي عنه لا تفتح. Do not open. الظرف منه مفتح مفتح and then مفتحة. All right, and then we got one more, and inshallah we are done. The last one we have is karuma. This is the last bab. Karuma, yakrumu. Now here in the masdar, in the verb, they have different versions that this verb appears in. And I will write all three of them here. This is karaman, karaman, and then we have kirama, kiramatan, and then we have kurmatun. Kurmatun. And these are the three different ways that it also appears. Karuma is something that was to become noble, that was made noble. Okay. And then ism fa'il becomes, in this case, kareem. Kareemun. Now, this version, karuma, it does not have the majhul because this verb itself already gives the hint of something that is not known. So, therefore, there's no majhul version of it. But we do have the last row here, the al-amr an-nahy anhu and all of that. So we'll go ahead and write that down. And then becomes al-amru minhu ukrum. Ukrum. النهي عنه لا تكرم. سكون. And then والظرف منه مكرم. And then it's مكرم. And then it's مكرمة. Okay. All right, so karuma means to make noble, to become noble. And then yakrumu, this is the mudari, becomes noble. Karaman, kirama, kiramatan, kurmatan. These are the different versions of the actual verb meaning noble or nobility. Kareem is to become noble. And then Kareem is ism fa'il, is the one who is generous and noble. Al-amru minhu ukrum, meaning be noble. النهي عنه لا تكرم, meaning do not become noble, don't be noble. الظرف منه مكرم, مكرم, and then مكرمة. All right, and I think we covered all the 6 verbs that we've covered in the past. So we covered it again here today, and we wrote everything down in this box form with different sections. So inshallah, if you have this with you, and then going forward, well, you might have a question like, well, I don't know which verb is going to fall in what category. I don't know if, let's say, for example, you come across a verb in the Quran like kataba, and you're like, well, yeah, I want to put it in this form, but I don't know which form is it going to go. Does it fall in nasara? Does it fall in daraba? Does it fall in hasiba? Does it fall in samira? Does it fall in fataha category or karuma? Which one does it fall? So because it starts with kataba, so we have 1, 2, 3. We have 3 babs that starts like that with fatha, fatha, fatha on the top. So the first one you have nasara, they're all fathas. And then we have the second bab is daraba, fatha, fatha, fatha. And then the third one we have is fataha, fatha, fatha, fatha. So you've already narrowed your search from 6 to 3 babs that you already know that, okay, this is kataba. So I already know that it has fata, fata, fata. So it has to fit in one of these 3 babs. You already eliminated the hasiba and then sami'a and karuma. You've eliminated those 3 because it doesn't fall in that. So now that you've done that, so now your search is a little bit easier. So if you already know, if you're very strong in your conjugation of the verbs, like nasara yansuru, and then you say kataba yaktubu. So you would say, okay, this is going to be the Nasara family. But again, if you still don't know, are you just having a hard time? The best thing to do is usually if you have your dictionary, you can go to the dictionary. It will, in the beginning, it will tell you. It have like a little section. It might give you like a ui or like a fataha, a fatah, or a kasra, and so it will indicate that this goes to this family group. So the dictionary will tell you. And again, if you still can't find it in dictionary, or you have difficulty, or you don't have a dictionary, or you don't want to go through all that, then you have to have something because you want to go back and check something somewhere. So either you have, like I said before, you should have one of the apps downloaded, or on your laptop or whatever, on your phone, if you have like Corpus Qur'an, uh, or even Quran Explorer, any of these are the 2 that I use basically, and that's why I speak from experience, because I use them and I know that they have this information on there. So if I click on a certain verb or word, and as I'm reading, it gives you that option. So you can click on it, and it takes you another page and gives you all the breakdown. It tells you what are the 3 root letters, what is the Maldi version, what is the Mudari version. So it helps you a lot, and then you can go from there, and then you can figure it out, inshallah. So this is it for today's lesson. I just wanted to kind of go over everything and make sure we understand this very well before we move on to other forms of the verb, like form 2, 3, 4, 5, and it goes all the way to 10. So we have a nice, strong foundation so we can build on, inshallah. And in the next class, I will be talking about the different forms that we have, the 10 forms that we have. And I'll probably have something similar on the board, like a chart like this, with the breakdown of different versions on how it's done and what's added and all of that. So as you have this chart in front of you, it helps you when you come across certain words in the Quran, and then you can quickly identify that, oh, okay, the root is this 3, and then this letter and this letter is added extra. Okay, so inshallah, that's our goal, to you can figure it out this way. All right, until, if you guys, as always, have any questions about anything, just kind of put down in the comments below, and hopefully I can, inshallah, answer them. Until next class, Assalamu alaikum.